Welcome to SportGlobe. Of course, I want to welcome all our sports fans to another video in the SportsGlobe chat room here. Of course, I have my peoples with me, right? I have Orion, how go on? I see I rep your Jamaica jersey there, though. Yeah, man, Jamaica colors.
Yeah, man, all is well, all is well.
And Rudy, of
Yes,
course,
for today, yes.
Rudy same up on the training ground Orion because he might athlete that he might try to prepare and get to the World Championship this year.
Yeah, me just see her there, me just see her pull up. Me I put her on. So you
Yeah,
ask Martin to question
what's
real
her
quick.
name?
Yeah.
What's her name, Rudy?
Makisha, welcome. Makisha, welcome. Let me put her on right now. You talk to her.
Welcome. Yeah, we can get
Yeah.
to see her and introduce her to the world before she can break the world record now. Oh, she can break the world record this year. We here. I understand. Yeah. Yeah. So welcome to the SportsGlobe sporting family and fans. Thank you very much for joining us for another. Come on, man. Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Makisha, how you doing? How was training today?
It was good.
It was good?
Yeah.
How you feeling?
I feel good.
You feel really good?
Yeah.
Getting ready?
Yeah, I am.
All right, tell us a little bit about you and what you have been doing. Come a little closer. Our fans want to get to meet you, man.
Yeah, train with my coach, Rudy. And so we're getting prepared for Canadian Nationals next.
Okay, you're preparing for the Canadian National next. So you're trying to get that mark. What is the mark that you're qualifying mark again?
It's 14:55 for triple and 6:88 for the long jump. So we have some work to do, but I believe we can get there.
And you think you're close?
Yes.
All right. So you're going to be representing St. Lucia, right? I understand,
St.
right?
Vincent.
St. Vincent. Oh, could I make that mistake, eh?
It's okay. They're very close together.
Yeah, man. So you really think that we're looking forward to you being there now because Rudy talking up a storm and working hard. We're here with you and trying to get you there as best as possible. So I want to wish you all the best with your preparation. And
Thank you.
We know you're going to get the mark to get there. So, we're looking forward to your performance at Worlds when it comes up for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, man. Keep training and keep working hard. Sky's the limit always.
Amen.
All right.
Thank you. Rudy will be back soon.
Of course. Cool. Thanks so much.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah, Orion. So, we want to talk a little bit about the Premier League, today. Just a little bit, whatever is in the news today. when I circle my scope is that I hear Rashford, some thinking and chatting and all kind of things going on around Marcus Rashford. Of course, he's a Man United player. Never like the way him left United and I run leave them still because they will lose. I don't know. He's a young guy and I'm trying to win a Premier League, but I guess I'm trying to look for where he can get the best playing time and all of that kind of a thing. But I really see him as a Manchester United player and thought that his career would have ended there. But I
the thing is with Rashford. Yeah, when I hear it, the thing is with Rashford. He went to Villa last year on loan, which I think kind of worked pretty well for him. But based on what his salary was, etc., they didn't look to sign him, and they got in some trouble because they expected to be in Europe and they're not in Europe. So I think that was an issue for them in terms of them making that deal permanent. In terms of where he might go, I don't know. Liverpool, I'm not really too sure about that, but I heard the rumor. I think I like what Liverpool has currently. They're pretty stocked. I hear rumors that Isak might go there too. They're willing to put on 120 million to make that possible. So but it's still all rumors. For him, it's still all rumors. I don't think anything has been set yet. So let's see.
It's all rumors, eh? All right, yeah, man. So I could catch up a little bit in regards to what I want to talk about. Rudy,
Makisha.
thanks so much for bringing on Malika. Malika is her name, right?
Makisha.
Makisha, yeah, man.
Yeah.
And you know, I hope you just ensure so she get to Worlds, you know, because we want to see you as a coach in our Worlds as well.
No, definitely, and that certainly is the goal. Like I said, everything comes, there's a process in everything that we do. So
Yeah.
sometimes we want it so much, and this is suddenly, like I said, we do the massaging today, and that's the first thing the masseuse was telling me right now is
Hmm.
her nervous system is what's shutting her down. So she's
Okay.
competing with that nervous system that when she go to the meet, she's so nervous, it just tighten up all the muscles. So it's not getting her
Okay.
to flow like she want to do. So that's certainly the discussion. They are talking about it right now, actually. So that's what I like about this person I'm bringing in. They
Yeah.
have conversation, you know what I mean? So, and the masseuse, I coached her many years ago
Hmm.
in high school, and she's, back
What
doing
kind
this thing. So,
what
yeah.
kind of help are you getting for her, or what kind of help you're looking for her?
Well, there is nothing yet, and we have done our due diligence in terms of putting our stuff together, sending it out to St. Vincent, asking for the support because she had an injury, so we exceed all of our funding that we have and savings and stuff that we have to get her back healthy. We did
Yeah.
send out information out to St. Vincent. We haven't heard back from them.
Oh.
Just the fact that means if they can get her flyer into the national championship for St. Vincent happening this weekend,
Hmm.
and it's been over 6 weeks and we haven't heard nothing from them back on that response, right? She don't get
Yeah.
nothing from no one, so
So
everything is just both of us.
the,
She and then no one athlete like this cannot work. She cannot have a job because there's no way she can be on her feet all day and then still continue, right? So
so
yeah,
their championships is this weekend for St.
this
Vincent.
weekend, this weekend, yeah.
So she will not be able to go
We would
based
not
on
be
the.
able to go based on, like I said, we reach out to them if they, at least if they acknowledge to us that, hey, this is a situation, we cannot do anything right now, then we understand, but we hear nothing from them. No,
St.
no support. And I'm not trying to
Vincent
say St.
just
Vincent, everywhere have the issues, so we're not trying to knock on St. Vincent. They have done good for her
yeah.
in terms of sending her to some meets in the past.
Hmm.
However, sometimes we need more than just the meets. You get what I'm saying? Now
Yeah.
she need the financial to help her on a
And
day to day or even for that
she's a
situation.
St. Vincent top triple and long jumper, eh?
She has
Right
both
now.
records. Yeah, she broke both records. Yeah.
She has the national records. So
She
St.
has, and
Vincent, you must look out for your
she
people, now, man.
recently,
Come on.
yeah,
Spend
she
spend
recently
up a
broke
little
the
money, man.
triple jump
Spend up a
record.
little money. My Prime
Yeah, and
Minister don't have
that's
St.
all it is,
Vincent
man.
name.
Yeah. Huh?
My Prime Minister don't have St. Vincent name. Spend a little money now, man.
I know
And
Gonzaga, yeah.
yeah, man, get the athletes to where they're supposed to go, man. Come on. She
No, no,
work hard,
definitely,
but yeah, man.
she put in the work, and I think
Yeah.
it's time that we've seen that. And what we don't want is there's that trickle down. And then yes, we are speaking about it again when we
Mhm.
see athletes leaving the federation is because of the same thing. And
Same
that's
kind
not
of
what
thing.
we want, right? It's the same kind of thing what's athletes leaving the federation. And if you really look at it, it's the same field events, field athletes, not track athletes.
Yeah.
It's the field event,
If she
most of the field.
if she was supposed to switch to Canada, you think she could qualify? She could make the team? Don't
It,
want to put
I
you on
mean,
the spot, you
certainly.
know.
I mean,
You
she
don't
is no, no, no. She is the number one. And I mean, she's like I said, she have a paper. She's landed. She's just not a citizen, right?
yeah.
So she certainly is number one triple jumper in Canada and number two
Okay.
long jumper. She's number two long jumper. But
Okay.
number one triple jumper.
So
Yeah.
she could have easily take that option there, but she want to rep for her country.
And she do want to represent her country. I mean, something that she want to do, something that that's her why. That's why you're doing this. Her
Yeah.
why is I want to represent my country, and that's really what it is. So sometimes you
So
want the countries to see that, like athletes are doing their
yeah.
part, and we ask them to do their part as well, right? So, and
Yeah.
that's really what it is in every sport. Like I'm doing my part. It's time for you to do your part. So
Then
yeah,
Vincent, step up the thing and make
yeah,
the
right.
thing happen. See the
Yeah.
athletes are work and I put in the work. St. Vincent, step up the game. All right. So anyway, let's go to our meet and the match today, and each of us going to talk about our sports icon, of all times that we
Top
think that
five.
you think is your top five. And I want, all our fans online as well to, comment in the comment section and tell us what your top five. We see the thing growing, Orion and
Yeah,
Rudy. It
man.
is growing,
Yeah,
the
man.
numbers going up. I see it, but people need to start commenting and tell us what your top five sports icon of all time is. I know what my number one is. You know, I have no qualms about it at all, and I'm going to talk about it, right? But I want you guys to tell me what your top five is. But before you give me your top five, I just want to give you a listing that I've been looking on, right? And you guys can tell me right now if you think, you know, that line up with what your thing is, right? So I look up something on Google, and Google says to me that Michael Jordan, number one, Cristiano Ronaldo, number two, Lionel Messi, number three, listen it good enough, Muhammad Ali, number four, right? Serena Williams, number five, LeBron James, six, seven, Tiger Woods, eight, Usain Bolt, nine, Beirut. You remember him from baseball, right? And then David Beckham round out top 10. All right, so that's what Google have right now, and AI produce all of that for Google right now. There's many different ones. You know, Sports Illustrated would produce one, and that one kind of skew towards most Americans and all kind of things. But so I just take the one that comes out to that general thing, right? That Google produced. So I don't know who want to go first, or maybe you want to go first and tell me your top five and why you think that is your top five.
Or we could just do one by one at a time. You do one,
Yeah,
we do
one
one,
at a time.
Yeah.
Go on, Orion.
All right, no problem. So here's my top five sports icons, and this is based off what I've seen. Of course, I don't have Muhammad Ali. You mentioned Tiger Woods a while ago. You know, maybe he's out of
Start
my
from
top
number
five.
one. Start from number one.
But
Go number
he did
one.
that. He, he, he did a lot. He did a lot for golf. So, but here's my top five. Number one, Brian Charles Lara.
Okay.
Um,
Cricket.
one of the best batsmen I've seen play the game of cricket.
Yeah.
Yes, 375 was had a huge impact on me. Also, I remember him scoring
Impactful.
100 in Barbados,
Yeah.
which I thought at the time was probably his best innings, and also that innings that I saw live when him and Jimmy Adams
Mm-hmm.
in that Test match versus Australia at
Yeah.
Sabina Park.
Sabina Park.
That series versus Australia where we drew 2-2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So number one is Brand. All right. Number two, Ronaldo of Brazil. Fat man. All right.
Yeah.
Best striker I've seen play the
Always
game of football.
top for you.
Yeah. Top. No, nothing beat it.
Yeah.
So Ronaldo of Brazil. I've never seen a better striker footballer.
Yeah.
Three, Michael Jordan impacted the game of basketball like no other.
Yeah.
Made the entire world log on to watching basketball.
Yeah.
Phenomenal athlete, and he accomplished a lot in his lifetime in terms
Yeah.
of playing the game of
Reasonable.
basketball.
Reasonable.
Number four, for me, I'm going to tennis, and it's Steffi Graf. Steffi
Mm.
Graf. When I when I started watching tennis at a very high level, she was the top of the top
Yeah.
in terms
Yeah.
of a top tennis player. I remember after that, Martina Hingis came on board and was dominant
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
for a while,
yeah,
maybe a
yeah,
couple of
yeah,
seasons,
yeah.
and then later you had Serena, etc. But for me, Steffi
Yeah.
Graf, over a long period of time, she dominated the game.
Yeah.
So she's four for me, and five, top five. We'll go back to the Caribbean, Tim Duncan, and the main
Mm.
reason I have Tim Duncan at five is that I remember when he won that championship in '99 after the NBA shortened season versus the Knicks, and he was dominant
Mm.
in that. Obviously,
Mm.
the Spurs have been my team for a long time, and they were contenders every year with the big dogs. You know, if the Lakers were hot, they were there. If whosoever was hot, they were there. And
Yeah.
so Tim Duncan for me is in my top five. So that's it.
Did Tim
Best power
Duncan
forward.
win? Did
Yes.
Tim Duncan win the NBA during his time?
Yeah, man.
They
Win a
did.
championship.
Yes,
They
man.
went like two.
Yeah,
Did.
They went two, right?
yeah.
Two or three, right?
He had
They
four. He
went
had
to,
4 rings.
Four
yeah.
rings. Yeah, four.
Four.
Yeah,
Yeah.
four. Yeah,
And
there
that's
you go.
all with the Spurs.
Four.
With the
Four.
Spurs.
All with
He
the
had four.
Spurs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
They have
okay,
four
okay. All
rings.
right.
Yeah.
All right, I like the whole thing about Steffi Graf because one of the things we tend to forget how powerful Steffi Graf was. She was really the face of tennis for
Oh,
a
yeah, man.
long, long, long period, right? She was very, very, very dominant. Very dominant. It was hard to beat Steffi Graf. You could almost
Yeah.
put your money on her at all times. So I'm glad you raised that one, Orion. That's a big one in there. All right, Rudy.
Yes, man. So my number one is Michael Jordan. I'm growing up watching him. I actually been to the game. I was at this at the uh, I think it was one of the game in Toronto. I don't think it was the ACC at the time.
Yeah,
When he shot that ball, he was straight and
yeah,
he hit it off the backboard, even though they lose. But that was, phenomenal. When I seen that, but I like his resistance. He never quit, never give up.
yeah,
Even when they lose the series with Detroit and those things in them. I remember a story. I listened to a story he said, and his trainer come and say, "Hey man, see you in a month." He said, "No, see you tomorrow." Because I lose, it doesn't mean that we got to go.
yeah,
We got to get it back. So you don't wait, and that's what I like about him. You see him
yeah.
play with bruise, with ankle, with finger tie up, and he's still playing. You don't
Never
see
give
that
up.
today. You don't see that today. Guys get a little finger, they're done for 2 weeks, right? So you don't see that. My second is Jackie Jenna Kersey. She was
Mm,
suddenly a phenom on the sport. Just watching her, I can feel her presence at the time and see her why she doing this, and what she have done for hurdles and what she have done for the heptathlete
yeah.
at the time coming up. My third, I'm going back to the track and field again, will be Carl Lewis. Certainly, he was my icon growing up. Before
Lois.
all the other things, what we
Okay.
don't know, we don't think about it. It's after the fact
Yeah.
we hear about all this other stuff. But you watch him, and I actually met him in high school, and we had a deep conversation for about an hour in Boston, and I asked him the question of growing up, and the fact that he can tell me that he wasn't as good as people think he was as a young kid.
Okay.
He had to work to get where he at. In spite of
Okay.
what the situation is now or what people see now, he had to work to where he gets, right?
Okay.
My fourth is Lionel Messi. I'm learning of this young man coming up as a young lad myself, learning of where he's coming from in Argentina and what he had to go through, what the family had to go through, and coming out from that and become one of the best in the world. I mean,
Hmm.
in that part of the world, man, when you come out, you come out.
Yeah.
Certainly these areas is very bad. Venezuela, I mean, Argentina, Venezuela, those areas down there is really, really rough.
Yeah.
But once
Yeah.
you come out of there and make it to be the best in the world, that certainly says something. When you watch him play, he's humble. He probably have his ways. That's like any football player. But you see him play, the way he plays, very humble. Um,
Hmm.
my fourth, my fifth
Five.
is my fifth is really iffy, because there's a few of them that kind of inside there, and I will call those names, but really I will go with, Michael Phelps, and seeing what he have done for swimming, someone that and being the most decorated Olympic athlete in terms of medals and what he have done in the sport. That is a phenom. That's phenomenal. I also have Shelly and Fraser is there, that tie as well, for what she have done for the sport in her time coming up. You can see why she did this. Now
Hmm.
you're seeing her later in her life. Now you're seeing why she really did it. Not necessarily for her, was for Jamaica and for the youths and for the kids and to grow the sport. And that's what I taken from what I see she's doing now
Yeah.
compared to them. And then I'm adding today Stephen Curry. He's a phenom basketball player, man. He's
Yeah.
right in there. He's a phenom basketball player. Um, and certainly, I'm going to go off a little bit. I do like Molinati. She's certainly something that she have done great for Jamaica, man. Just watching her being the only one, always being the bridesmaid, but never give up because she never get that gold medal. Always,
Yeah.
always holding the bouquet and catching a bouquet, but she could never be the bride. Certainly, those are certainly my top five.
Your
Like I
top
said,
five.
there is a few ties for fifth, but
Yeah.
certainly, those are my,
All right.
you know.
We have to give respect to Merlin Otti, because I tell you this much, and I go and say this because I can say it, is that Merlin Otti competed at a time in track and field as a Jamaican naturally. Whatever you want to put to it, that everybody else was doing, the Russian and the Americans, whatever they were doing at the time, Merlin Otti was
Natural.
naturally competing, and
Yeah.
she was up against all
Yeah.
these giants of the world. So, I go hands down. You have to have Merlin to be considered in there somewhere, right? But here my take though. Number one for me, all time, and we can argue it, we can talk about it, but there's no other way I see it. But when we talk about sports icon, we have to talk about the personality, we have to talk about the popularity, we have to talk about the impact, we have to talk about the performance. One person for me embodied most of all of that, and it's Usain Bolt. There's not a country in the world that you can go and nobody don't know this name. I know the Jordans are out there. I know the Cristiano Ronaldos are out there. I know the Messis are out there. But guess what happened? You have a guy who is participating in a sport that is regarded as one of the low-tier sports in terms of popularity. But when he came into the thing was right up there with football, basketball, NFL, you name whatever the top sport, the chess, the tennis, whatever the sport is. He brought it right there. I have not seen another sports icon who would have taken something from the bottom and made it to the top, right? Hence his popularity and his favorability around the world. So when people like Obama have him on on his list as one of the top sports icon that he follows and that kind of a thing. And then when the Americans decided that they want to rate iconic people, and Usain Bolt came out above people like Obama, then I have to start think about that, because them never said them own Michael Jordan, them never said them own, Muhammad Ali. They never said all of these people. They talk about Usain Bolt at that time. So to me, is one of the icons. When I put all of the little elements together, is one of the person. And then the part about it is performance was always world records all the time. When it comes down to championships, you can expect nothing more than 110% performance, right? So I give it to you, Usain. Cristiano Ronaldo for me, when I look at all of the footballers around the world, and I love Messi too, would have been my number 2 iconic person, right? He embodied everything that I think about when I think about football. And when I think about sports, I think about competition. I think about never say never. I think about how hard you work to get where you are. And Christian, I understand, Orion, that Ronaldo was pretty much almost the same, but I just think Cristiano Ronaldo impact the world in a bigger sense. I don't know if he was in a time where the internet was exploding and all of that, so he would have get a little bit more than Ronaldo. But at the moment, when I compare both of them together, and both of them very skillful player, them impact the football when they're on the pitch. Their team becomes a team that everybody wants to ensure you need to stop this guy. Cristiano Ronaldo was one of those players that if you stop him, you might beat him team. Right? Ronaldo was one of those too. And I know Pele was one of those too. Right? But I think Cristiano Ronaldo played with a whole lot of excitement, a whole lot of aggression. Him bring the ball to the game, him bring the game to the game, him get the fans out. And I guess that's why when you look at the internet, is one of the most popular search for names in terms of sports icon. He's one of the most, followed person and that kind of a thing. He's that kind of a person. Number 3 for me is Michael Jordan, without a doubt. Basketball would have been basketball today because of Jordan. And it's not that the other players wasn't before him wasn't playing, but Michael Jordan brought basketball excitement to a whole new level when he's on the pitch. And as Rudy says, it doesn't matter the injury that he has. You know, he would have signaled to his coach that, hey, listen, we're doing this thing, broken finger, sprained ankle. You know all of the tribulation that he has gone through, but he would go on the bench, sit down for 5 minutes, and come right back whenever his team was under pressure. And clinchers in basketball, I think Michael Jordan is one of the biggest basketball clinchers of a game of all time. I never see a man can close down a game like him. You know, I know you have a whole heap of players. Steph Curry is one of those. You know, leave it for the last minute and give him the ball, your team might just lose. Michael Jordan was the epitome of that. And I think when you think about clinchers of game, Michael Jordan would be the person who would start all of them kind of crazy thinking than, you know, clutch and that kind of thing. So Michael Jordan is one of that. I kind of have a toss up between for the fourth for cricket, right? And India's what's his name again? Kind of just lose his name, but Lara Tendulkar. Tendulkar is the player.
Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah, man. Tendulkar is the player that is hard to get him wicket at all times. If you want runs to be scored, he's going to give you runs on the board. Crazy. And he has the same flashy style. And that's why between him and Lara, I always, you know, I don't know. I like watching both of them play. Them play with such style and ease of the game of cricket. Them know the game. And in the field as well, them work in the field. Them can catch. Them can, you know, run in between the field. Them very overall and they're very good. And they can bowl a good spin too, right? But in terms of the batting, both of these iconic persons are my two that I would leave in the fourth place for and in the sport of cricket. I know what a lot of the young guys are doing, but in terms of just, hey, when Tendulkar or Lara playing, you have to go watch the game. You have to go watch the game. You can't sit down on the sideline or watch it on TV. You want to go out there, go experience it for yourself. You know, so when they come to Sabina Park, I was always wanting to be there to just sit out, you know, and to meet them. And I got the opportunity to meet him, to both of them, and that was great. I watched Chris Gayle as well, but Chris Gayle wasn't, I mean, him score a lot of runs, but Chris Gayle wasn't the kind of cricketer in terms of batting, style, and class, and all that kind of a thing for me, right? So Chris make a lot of runs, but in terms of just sit down and watch real batting and something that youngsters can learn from, you have to look at the Tendulkars and the Laras of the world. Those are my, you know, I never get to see the great Clive Lloyds and all of them people and all of them, you know, great batsmen. But, and even when I look at videos and things and compare them to Tendulkar and Lara, them two still stand out a whole lot, right? And last but not least, for me, Tiger Woods with golf, and especially as a black entering a sport that was always dominated by whites, Tiger Woods raised the level and now raised the entry of other nations getting into the sport of golf. Now, when we look at it, the sport of golf have so, and it's not that black people wasn't playing, but black people now feel like they can be in the top 10, in the top 20, in the top 30, even in the top 100, right? And when he burst into that, I can remember I watched that entire Masters tournament almost for the entire amount of days that it played for. Nobody in this world could have leave them TV when it was on, whether it was a golf person who I was fan, yes or no. It come like when they had this case with O.J. Simpson, that nobody left the TV. It was the same thing with that Masters tournament for Tiger Woods. Those kind of icons and those kind of impact tell me something about these people are legend in their own right. You understand? And I watch these things. I literally couldn't. I have work, but I had to watch Tiger Woods play. The thing was just so, and the fact that he was a black person and he was dominating the thing that day, and then after that It's not like it was a fluke. After that, Tiger Woods keep winning and winning and winning and winning for years after that. And, and bring the sport to another level too, right? So those are my top 5. There are some other great legend in the thing, but those are my people that every time I would even go to YouTube and rewatch some of their things. Muhammad Ali is one of those boxers that was beyond his time. You understand? And it's somebody that you'd always watch for boxing. I mean, Tyson, I love watch Mike Tyson. No doubt.
I mean, you mentioned those cricket players. It make me think about in the time they were playing with those type of bowlers. Then
Yeah.
the bowlers today they're
Yes.
soft. Like if those guys in them play, if Lara and them was in the prime today, the man is scoring 1,000 points.
No.
They're hitting 1,000 runs because the bowlers today was not like the Ambrose. I mean, I've seen Ambrose hurt some people. I've seen,
No,
you know what I'm
That's the
saying?
like
top
what's he
5,
back
man.
from? Was not one.
But that's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying, right?
those bowlers was crazy and
This
fast that
was
time, man.
ridiculous and
They were
scary. Big
tall
guys,
and big
and
guys.
I'm talking about guys who coming from Australia, from England, from New Zealand. We are not talking about those guys today. These guys in today cannot bowl like those guys in them then. And that's where my disappointment always come in on. I always talk about the West Indies. That's where they fail by not keeping these guys in them on to be mentors.
Yeah.
That's where I think they fail. I think they brought them in too late. And that's why I always say that I think where West Indies fail. And you look at Michael Jordan. If Michael Jordan playing today, he's got 100 points a game with that kind of mindset of this kind of just the way the game is today. Shaq and those guys and them is scoring like nobody will stop them because the game today is so soft compared to then. Football, same thing. In the days of Maradona and those football was football. Today football is soft. You know what I'm saying? It's not the same. You know what I'm saying? I'm watching now where I like the idea where some depends on the league, you get 5 subs. I like that because give players more time to play. I think that's very important. You know what I mean? But man, come on, man. They're just soft today. You don't see those type of things. And so certainly, and the same thing with both. I mean, yes, when you talk about, I did not pick both for a specific reason, but when you speak of that aspect of both, certainly there is no doubt about him being your number one because what Bolt have done for the track and field and what he have done for track and field in the Caribbean change a lot for us and for the young people because his name is still being called today. You don't hear of those guys' name anymore, names being called, but you hear both name calling still. You don't really hear of Michael Jordan unless they want to compare him and who's the greatest. That's the only time you really hear his name. But when track and field starts, you hear both names. It's not only you hear it, sometimes you hear it in your own hand. You just watch it, it's like, okay, Bolt is up. Like you just hearing it and try to see that, right? So suddenly
Rudy, I see Orion want to chime in because Orion used to love the sport of cricket, but for some reason or the other, Orion used to play the thing too, right? Orion couldn't miss a game, but I don't know for some reason Orion what's going on with the thing.
Well, the thing is, obviously, I think cricket in the Caribbean, even in Jamaica, is dead, and there needs to be some grassroots work to be done on that. And I don't think the powers that be they have put those things in place to really progress the game. If you look what they have done in recent times is that they've taken the money and given the money to a select set of people instead of putting it in a grassroots program. They're giving it to people who play first class cricket, which is a limited amount of people in hopes that those people would matriculate to the West Indies and be great. But you need a larger pool. And until they look to reinvest some of that money from the WICB into grassroots cricket in each territory, we'll continue to suffer, man. There's nobody playing cricket in Jamaica, like on the level that would like. So,
but what also gets me too, knowing that now cricket is an Olympic sport, at least for the next Olympic Games, we should see every country have a national team that's playing each other. We should see a Caribbean series and in the end there is a trophy. They should have a Caribbean series right now. You understand what I mean?
Yeah,
And which would make cricket so big in your country,
yeah.
in those countries. You don't see that anymore. Like you
Well,
said, cricket
yeah,
is
well,
dead.
yeah. I think that's for the shorter format of the game. I think there's some things being worked on in regards to that.
Mm-hmm.
But but when we think about cricket, we still think West Indies, and
Yeah.
and from that standpoint, in terms of who we grew up on it, and based on how the world is, there probably will be some changes
Yeah,
later to
it has
that
to
in
be.
regards to country
It has to be.
representation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think everybody's looking forward to the Olympics and cricket being a part of it, which we think is a huge thing.
Mm.
I know at one point it was a part of the Commonwealth Games. So yeah, it's a
Yes.
huge
Yes, it
initiative.
was.
So
Yeah.
let's
But
see if that can drive some momentum in the regions
well, let's hope.
in regards to
Listen,
playing
we
the game.
seen.
Let's big up.
Listen. We
Hey,
seen.
listen. We're gonna talk about that cricket situation that another day still. So anyway, so Orion top five, top your number one
Yeah,
sports icon is who again? Michael.
you you want my top five
No
again?
man, you're number one. I
Yeah.
want your
So
number
my
one
top
again.
five is Brian Lara, two Ronaldo Brazil.
Yeah,
Oh, Brian Lara,
Brian Lowry, number one. Rudy, are you
Yeah.
number one?
Michael
Brian
Michael
Jordan.
Charles
Jordan.
Lara.
Yeah.
Okay, and Rudy,
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Usain Bolt. Hey, SportsGlobe fans, sports fans, tell me what you think. My number one, Usain
And then
Bolt,
for you, Rich,
all
is
time,
Usain Bolt.
Yeah.
all time, all
All time.
time. Hands down. Tell who wanna think. If you wanna think Rudy right, Orion right, I wanna think say, boy, my love for Usain Bolt is the thing. Hey, listen, guys, thanks so much for joining. But I want to come back again because we have some other ones to talk about. Because I want to talk about sports
Yes.
icon in a particular way too, right? And how these sports icon. I'm going to come back to because I want to know
Yeah.
how your sports icon has been im- impacting the sports
Impact
and
the
how it has
sport.
grown that sport.
Yep.
So maybe we can do
Yep.
a little research on that so we can make the people them know and we can hear from them to see what them is. Of course, this is Sports Globe. We want you to also comment, share, like, and always just chime in at all times. Maybe one day we'll try and go live. Who knows? So Sports Globe, we're here for all the sports fan. And as sports fan, this is what we like, and that's it. Guys, thanks so much again for joining us today. And I really do appreciate it. All right.
All right, man.
All
Definitely.
right. Cool.
All right.
All
Bless
right.
up.
Cheers,
All
man.
right. Bless up.
All right.
All right. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. No problem. All right, Rudy. All right, Rich. Please.
Cool.